summertime in Campbell County. The weather is hot, humid, and sunny. Maybe you're enjoying a delicious hot dog or hamburger from the Royal Lunch. Maybe you're spending your evening at one of the boat docks. Maybe you're having a picnic at Cove Lake State Park. Or maybe you're having a fun-filled, action-packed day at Norris Lake. However you spend your summer, be sure to stay connected to WLAF for all the latest news, information, sports, and more. This is WLAF, AMFMTV.com.
This is AM 1450 and FM 100.9. WLAF La Follette, the home of American Top 40, the 70s with Casey Kasem.
FM 100.9 WLAF.
It's got a touch of the town where I grew up. Something in it them California girls love. Some people like to make a little fun of the way I talk. It gets slower after 3 or 4 cold beers. It gets louder when I'm cheering on the Volunteers. Folks know I'm country when they hear the way I talk. It sounds a little bit like my daddy. Don't cuss around my mama. Got some words you never heard unless you come from down yonder. The man upstairs gets it, so I ain't trying to fix it. No, I can't hide it, I don't fight it, I just roll with it. Oh, kind of slow.
And welcome in to Jake Miller Sports Talk right here on WLAF Live in the Truly Nolan Studios. Jake Miller alongside Jonah Brassfield, the wonderful meteorologist here at WLAF. Guys, Jake Miller Sports Talk is presented by the Marlowe Agency with Shelter Insurance. Derek Marlowe and Company are here to serve you and not only protect your assets, but protect you as well. Whether it may be your home, your car, your boat, your business, or your life, the Marlowe Agency does it all. Give them a call today at 423-352-7735. That's the Marlowe Agency with Shelter Insurance, 423-352-7735, and let them know you heard about them right here on Jake Miller Sports Talk. Jonah, we have got a list of topics to cover today, and a lot of them revolve around Campbell County, of course, traveling down to Lenoir City, down I-75 tomorrow, and fighting that god-awful West Knoxville traffic on a Friday of all days. Luckily, I'll already be down there, so I get to avoid that portion of it. However, we got a game tomorrow, and it's going to be the start of the Taylor OMB era here at Campbell County, which I'm looking forward to. We're also going to be talking about what's going on across the pond this weekend, because oddly enough, we have a college football game, an American college football game being played in Dublin, Ireland. Why? Why in the world would you play an American football game in Dublin, Ireland, when it's not Notre Dame? Because at least if it's Notre Dame, I understand. However, the two teams that are playing have absolutely nothing to do with that whatsoever. And then, of course, we're going to jump into another deal where Danny White makes the dollars, but the way he goes about it, not really a fan. Not really a fan at all, and we're going to talk more about that, considering there's going to be an increase in ticket prices once again next year after already adding a talent fee plus an increase to the price this year. And on top of that, if you carry cash, go ahead and make a deposit at your bank before you go, because if you don't, guess what? You're not getting a pretzel. And Jonah, I like pretzels. Jonah, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing good. With the whole Tennessee and Danny White thing, I don't understand it. I get that you got to pay the players. I get they need their money, and that's how you get better in football and better in all the sports. But I don't get it. You're pricing out your casual fans too quick. I mean, it's just too expensive to go anymore.
It is too expensive to go, and that's not just for, not for everybody, but for your common fan. And I want to jump into that right off the rip here, because I think a lot of people can relate to this, because the majority of people out there are the common fan.
Yeah.
And what happens when you price out the common fan? You end up like NASCAR.
You do.
Because NASCAR has catered to the wine and cheese crowd for years and years and years. And what do we have now? We have a wine and cheese crowd. The races are nowhere near as rowdy as what they used to be. it would be heartbreaking to see Neyland Stadium or Thompson Bowling Arena turn into just that.
Yeah, that's what makes college sports special. I feel like the NFL is similar to that, where I have no interest in going to NFL games just because
They're not that fun.
They're not fun.
No, I went to one. This would have been about 18 months ago, I guess you could say. I watched the Titans and the Jags play at the end of the 2023-2024 season, and I could not get into that game at all. Number one, it was cold, and the tickets that I got were in the upper deck, so I'm getting every bit of wind off of the river, and it's like 12 degrees outside, so I was miserable the whole time, and my back hurt, so then I'm having to walk. So yeah, it's just not a good day for Jake. Not a good day.
And if you're in the top deck of Neyland, it's the same thing. I've been there in late November where it's cold. It is cold up there, and we was playing and nobody.
Oh, and your back is to the Tennessee River.
Yes, and it is so cold, and it did not matter.
No.
Because we're still screaming, and that place was packed. It was the first year of Heupel. It was cold, but we were still scoring touchdowns, and everybody was screaming. But you price those people out, what do you have?
And what we're referring to here is Danny White and the University of Tennessee announced earlier in the week that there will be a 4% increase to ticket prices next year. I'm guessing this applies to season ticket holders, mainly more so than anybody. But then you go to the aftermarket, you go to Ticketmaster, wherever it may be, and the prices are increasing even more. And say you have a family of 4. Say you want to take your wife and your 2 kids, if that's your situation. By the end of this, by the time you factor in your gas to get down there, paying for parking, you got to eat, because this is an all-day ordeal. This is not just hey, let's go watch a 2-hour game, go home, we'll eat later. No, you got to eat, because these are 3.5 to 4 hour long games. Plus, you got to get there about an hour early if you want to be in your seat by the time this is all said and done. And then you got to worry about getting out, especially if it's a close game. If it's a blowout, yeah, you can leave early, no problem.
Yeah.
But if it's a tight game, you're staying the entire duration of what is going on. And you got 102,455 people. Actually, that's not what it is anymore. Now they've put in what I call the Danny deck.
Yeah.
Out in the north end zone, the party deck. But now you're looking at, what'd you say, 150 to 200 per ticket. That's on the low end.
That's on the low end.
And this is after fees. This is after everything. So a family of 4, you're looking anywhere from $600 to $800. Sound like Dave Ramsey on here right now. You're spending $800 to $1,000 on Tennessee football tickets. And pretty soon your family's going to be eating rice and beans, because that's all you're going to be able to eat, because all your money's going to watch a football game. Well, unfortunately, that's not anything crazy to say. It could cost anywhere from $600 to $1,000 to take a family of 4 just to get into the stadium.
Yeah.
And I was talking to one of our listeners out in Memphis later in the week, last week, early this week. I can't remember which day it was, but he mentioned to me, he's like, well, man, you got to think, we're 5.5 hours from Knoxville. For us to go to a game, we have to turn it into a weekend trip. It's not as simple as just buying tickets, going to the game, and coming home. We have to find a place either in Knoxville or the Smokies to stay. Then we have to go to the game, and then we have to go back to the hotel or the cabin, whatever we may rent, and it turns into a $3,000 ordeal. I was like, oh.
Yeah, for a football game.
For a game. I will never forget. This was the 2011 season, and things had gotten bad. It was real bad. We had an extra set of tickets to the Vanderbilt game, and I think we ended up selling them for $5 a ticket.
Oh, man.
The only good side to this is knowing that since tickets are so much, that means there's supposedly good football. And we have seen good football since 2021. Going forward, we're having to rely on a transfer quarterback once again.
Yeah.
Because something that doesn't get talked about enough is the fact that we only have one quarterback under the Josh Heupel era that has been recruited by Josh Heupel. Everybody else has been a transfer. Joe Milton was starter in 2021, then it was Hendon Hooker. Then it was back to Joe Milton. We had 1 year of Nico, and now we have Joey Aguilar, who is going to be the 3rd transfer quarterback to play under Josh Heupel. So when you look at this, Jonah, do you think there is anything that needs to be brought up about the fact that we haven't necessarily developed somebody into a starting quarterback that can play at the level that Hendon Hooker did, or even Joe Milton, for
Yeah.
that matter.
I mean, I don't know. That's an interesting point that honestly I had not thought of. I had thought Nico was going to be the guy for 3 or 4 years.
Oh, we all did.
And now I'm sitting here going, who's the guy now? I mean, you think maybe George McIntyre, Jake Merklinger, potentially after Joey Aguilar, but then you got Faison coming in next year.
Mm-hmm.
So who is are we going to have some development? Or are we going to start the 5-star next year and do what we did with Nico? I mean, for me, I'm very, I guess, confused on why Josh Heupel, the quarterback whisperer, as he was touted before he came in, has not been able to develop a freshman quarterback.
And that's what's standing out to me more so than anything, because I look at this and it's like, okay, we're going to have a quarterback competition over the next 2 years. It's like, no, we're really not. Because guess what you can do now that you couldn't do necessarily in the days of your Casey Clausens, your Joey Matthews, your T. Martin? Because what a lot of people forget about T. Martin is we only got to see 2 years of T. Martin because he was behind Peyton Manning. He waited his turn. And that is not the pathway that a lot of players are taking this day and age.
Yeah.
Hey, you're not going to play me? Okay, I'm going to transfer.
And that's concerning, with having a 5-star coming in, that maybe he does develop some of these guys that we have now. The 5-star comes in and says, I'm not going to sit. I'm leaving. Then what do you do?
Well, I mean, you look at the smartest guy in the room when it comes to this, and not a lot of people will, nod their head yes at this, but look at what Quinn Ewers did.
Yeah.
He committed to Ohio State. He graduated early, goes up there. They redshirt him. They pay him $1 million, and then he went back to where he wanted to play.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
he's the genius in
great.
the room.
Yeah, and he is.
Knock off Morgan Wallen. That is exactly what he is, especially with the mullet.
Yes.
That mullet had no flow.
None
whatsoever.
He cut it off, thankfully.
But jumping back into the whole situation with Tennessee going to be a cashless venue at Neyland Stadium, I'm sure it's going to probably apply to Thompson Bowling and Lindsey Nelson Stadium, later in the year as well, when it comes to basketball and baseball. But I know a lot of people are switching a card, and it can be aggravating when it's like, oh, we're cash only, and it's like, oh, I don't carry cash. Well, there's some people that still carry cash.
Yeah.
And they have that cash for a certain reason. It's to basically limit themselves. Because let's call it like it is. You have somebody that likes to get a few libations in them. If you don't know what a libation is, it's an alcoholic beverage. But if you have a husband or a wife, they want to get them a couple drinks at the game, they're swiping a card, they're not paying that much attention.
Yeah.
So is this strategic thinking on the part of the University of Tennessee?
I don't know.
What would you do if they charged you a 3% fee when you went to use your card, knowing that they won't let you use cash?
I'd be pretty mad about that. I don't like the idea of going cashless anyways.
Right.
And then you're going to charge me a fee because you won't let me use cash?
Mm-hmm.
I'd be pretty upset about that.
And, of course, we're getting a drone show this year as well. I don't know if you saw that.
I haven't seen that.
So it looks cool.
Are they getting rid of the fireworks, though?
I doubt it.
I hope they don't get rid of the fireworks.
No, if we get rid of fireworks, there's going to be a major, major problem.
Yeah, that's what makes it so cool.
Oh, my goodness. If we lose fireworks, we lose cash. We lost YY 9 and 10. That's just sad.
I hope this doesn't happen.
What if they build a third deck? Or what if they domed it?
Oh, no. They should never do that.
I wouldn't be opposed to a dome.
No.
Like a retractable roof. You wouldn't like that?
No, not at all. I believe that college football, it's playing the elements. It's another one of those things to me, that's what makes it so special. In the NFL, they got air conditioning and domes, but in college, it's all played outside in the elements.
It's going to be interesting to see what the turnout is from this. I mean, I'm actually very excited to see what in the world could possibly go on with this. And the biggest thing is I want to make sure, or I guess see if Neyland can still be Neyland loud.
Yeah.
Can it still be Neyland loud? Because when I'm talking Neyland loud, I'm talking 130 some odd decibels. Because if you don't get that, then you have failed colossally. You have failed colossally as an athletic director if you allow that to happen. We're going to go to the phones. 423-562-1450, your number if you want to hop on the show. Let's get our first caller in here. Go ahead, caller.
What do you think, Jake?
Philly!
How's it going?
It is going up here in Campbell County. How you doing, Philly?
That's pretty cool. Your cohort there, he's like me. I mean, I always carry cash. I always carry about $200 in my back pocket. I ain't going to use a credit card unless it's an emergency. I'm sure as hell ain't going to use a credit card over at UT.
Phil, does that bother you knowing that if you
It
wanted to
does.
pay cash for a pretzel and a Coke, that you're not going to be able
I mean, they're increasing the prices and everything else over there. I mean, I guess y'all have talked about it, hadn't they increased season tickets in football and basketball and baseball. When's it going to end? Let's win some championships first.
I mean, that's the thing is like we do have a baseball championship, so you can almost justify that. But I mean, we've still not been to a Final Four in basketball. And you would think that, judging.
We're close, but no cigarette on that,
Yeah, and I mean, we've been close. And really, I think the best chance we had, Phil, and I think you'll agree, was when we were playing Purdue, but Zach Edey could do whatever he wanted in the paint. Standing there, it should have been defensive 5 seconds. How many times? Offensive 5 seconds. How many times?
Yeah, Zig Ziglar, he's a good player, but when he played big-time competition in the League 8, he couldn't get it done. 2 straight years.
Well, and that's one of those things, too. It's like, so many people carry water for him, and a lot of people get behind these guys. And I was actually having a conversation with one of my buddies last week. Like, we latch on to these players just because of their name. Like, take Squirrel White, for example. The only reason people latched onto him like that is because his name was Squirrel. It wasn't because he was a fantastic wide receiver. It was because his name was Squirrel, and that's the only reason why.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be interesting to see. I foresee this first game is going to be difficult for us to win. I'm not a believer in our quarterback we got over there right now. I think by the end of the year, McIntyre's your quarterback.
And you very well might be right on that. I'm one of these guys, with this situation in particular, I have to see it to believe it, because look at everything that we were told with Nico Iamaleava. We were told that we had, as someone over in Knoxville called it, the Polynesian Peyton, and that was nowhere near the level of play that we got out of him. That's like, Peyton was number 16 and he was number 8. Guess what? He wasn't even half as good as Peyton, and he had half the value of Peyton's number 16 at number 8. He might have been a 2 or a 3.
Jack, I miss hearing your voice on the radio. It's good that you're on there now. I mean, I hope these people appreciate how good you are.
I think they do. I think they appreciate me very, very well up here, Phil. They have been nothing but great to me. I owe a big thank you to the owner of the station, Jim Freeman, and everybody around here. Matthew Moore does a lot of production work. He does a fantastic job getting us on the air, whether that be radio, TV, the stream. He does a fantastic job.
Well, it's an impressive website y'all got there. I mean, lots of stuff to look at. I mean, kind of educates you on Campbell County and La Follette area, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Tells you where to get the best pizza around, too, Philly.
Is it worth me driving 50 miles to get a pizza?
Phil, I think it's worth 50 miles, and I'll even buy it for you.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I'll have to get me and Drunk Tank come up there and see you sometime,
Hey,
you know?
come on with it. I'm all about it.
But Jake, keep in touch, and let's hope Tennessee has a good season this year. I hate to be negative, but I'm positive until the first loss, you know what I mean?
You and I are one in the same boat there, Phil.
Well, we know football and basketball. There's a lot of people like The View don't know anything. See?
Appreciate the phone call, Philly. Yeah, Phil brings up a couple of interesting points there, Jonah.
He does.
I mean, that's Phil.
You had me laughing with that. Nico ain't even half as good as what Peyton Manning was.
Well, I'm just saying, Peyton wore number 16, Nico wore number 8, and my first thought was, oh my goodness, he might only be half as good as Peyton. And we got Jarrett Garantano is what we got. We essentially got Jarrett Garantano. Looks like we have another caller on the line. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, this is Daniel Collins, Jake.
And this is going to make an announcement here. We have a new co-host joining us next Thursday, and it will be Daniel Collins. Daniel, how are you, man?
I'm doing well. How are you all?
Hey, we are fantastic. Talking some Tennessee ball, talking some Campbell County ball. Apparently, we were talking about pizza with Phil. Life's great.
Hey, we're talking about a lot of stuff. Hey, just a few quick things. So we were talking about UT there and the chaos that was Nico Iamaleava last year.
Mm-hmm.
Coming into this year, we've lost Dylan Sampson, who was the highlight of Tennessee's offense last year. Who do you think we're going to be going through a majority of this year to replace Dylan? And also talking about a little high school action going on. Tonight we've got Halls going against Oak Ridge. Halls looking pretty good, but their quarterback I've seen looks like to be a stud. Then, of course, you said Campbell County heading down to Lenoir City. That's going to be a battle. You got Anderson County taking on Powell tomorrow night. That's always going to be that's going to be fireworks as well. I'll hop off here and let you do a little bit of talking.
All righty. Look forward to seeing you next week. Yeah, we got some good high school matchups this week. A lot of good ones. Excited to see them.
Yes, definitely.
And then, of course, Daniel asked questions like who's going to carry the load in the running back room this year for Tennessee. I think you got to look at Peyton Lewis. I think you got to look at Deshaun Bishop, because those guys, and what a lot of people tend to forget, Jonah, is the fact that it was not Nico that carried this team to the college football playoff last year. It was Dylan Sampson, it was that offensive line, and it was that elite defense.
Yeah, and I think we're going to have most of that back this year. I really do. I think
You think it's going to be a lot in the same?
Yeah, I do. I think Peyton Lewis and Deshaun Bishop, we saw what they could do last year. That offensive line, it's built. I've seen a lot of people saying it's not what it was last year. I think it's just as good.
I think it's going to be interesting. And, as we were talking with John Dunn last week, one of the things that I had mentioned was, some things that I had heard about the current situation is that our defense is elite at all three levels, which is phenomenal. If you can have an elite defense, you give yourself a chance.
Yeah.
You always give yourself a chance when you have an elite defense. Just because you can throw the ball or run the ball and you can put up 50 points a game does not mean that you're always going to win. Case in point, Tennessee, 2012. That was one of the best offenses we'd ever seen, and it was also the worst defense because the 3-4 had kind of been phased out of football at this point. Now it's back because of everybody running the spread and everything. But for as bad as that looked back then, it was so bad.
Yeah.
It was absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. Of course, you went to Mississippi State, so, you've seen your fair share of just destruction. A lot of it. And before Jonah talks, I'm going to give him a little bit of slack because the first domino that fell was out of everybody's control.
Yeah.
There is nothing that you can do about what happened with Mike Leach. That was nothing that a doctor could do, nothing that Mike Leach could do. That was all from the man upstairs. There's nothing you can do about that. But everything after that, you can help.
Yeah, you hated to see Mike Leach go. He's a legend. And
he's my favorite coach of all time.
I'm just sitting here laughing at how truly bad that football program has been. I remember sitting there watching, I believe it was last year, we lost to Toledo at home. You can't pay somebody to come to your school and lose to them at home.
No.
You just can't do it.
No.
And this coming from somebody who was at the Georgia State game. I watched that one too.
A part of me wants to say that Wyoming was worse.
Yeah.
In 2008.
Yeah.
We lost to a team that wore New Balance. That's the only thing I can say about that game is the fact that we lost to a team that wore New Balance. And, that's one of those things, too, where you look at everything that goes on and it's like, okay, well, maybe, just maybe everything will work out. And with Lane Kiffin, it looked like it was going to work out.
It did.
It looked as if it might. And it didn't. It did not.
Yeah.
But at the end of that, everything worked out to Tennessee's benefit 15 years later. 15 years later, everything finally worked out. Stay with us. We're going to hit a quick timeout. Stay with us. Jake Miller Sports Talk continues right here on WLAF. Jake Miller Sports Talk is taking your calls and listening to you every Thursday at 6 p.m. over WLAF. Hi, this is former Cougar Jake Miller inviting you to join me for 2 hours of talking Tennessee Vols, Campbell County Cougars, and beyond. See you at 6 p.m. on WLAF.
FM 100.9 WLAF. We've unlocked the vaults, and we're replaying Casey Kasem's American Top 40, the 70s. This week is from August 23rd, 1975. That's when the Carpenters were playing Solitaire. Ambrosia was holding on to yesterday. The Bee Gees were jive talking. And War wondered, why can't we be friends? You'll hear those songs and all the top 40 hits from August 23rd, 1975, right here on American Top 40, the 70s. Saturday night at 7 on FM 100.9 WLAF.
Cougar fans, this is head coach Taylor Ownby, and we're counting down to kickoff for the 2025 football season. We'll open up on Friday, August 22nd at Lenoir City. We hope to see you at the game, but if not, catch all the action right over here on WLAF.
Casey Kasem has unlocked the American Top 40 vaults and is replaying original shows from the 80s. This week, Casey takes you back to August 11th, 1984. That's when the Jacksons were in a state of shock. John Waite was missing you. Sheila E. was living the glamorous life. And Tina Turner wondered, what's love got to do with it? You'll hear those songs, all the top 40 hits, and the long-distance dedications from August 11th, 1984, right here on American Top 40, the 80s. Sunday night at 8, right here on WLAF, FM 100.9.
Hey Alexa, play WLAF.
On it. Now playing WLAF. Good choice, Matthew. They always have the latest information on what's happening around Campbell County.
FM 100.9 WLAF.
Back here on Jake Miller Sports Talk right here on WLAF, presented by the Marlowe Agency. As Campbell County gets ready tomorrow to head down to Lenoir City and take on the Lenoir City Panthers. My former coworker Davey Hudson from Outkick. Excited to get down there? Well, I'll already be down there. But then comes a point where it's like, okay, all friendships are out the window. It's time to go play ball. And, when you talk to Coach O, somebody that's really bought in to what we're trying to do here at Campbell County, and that is to win. At the end of the day, your end goal is to win ball games. And that is his end goal, is to win ball games. And in what little interaction I've had with Coach, and, we've got to know each other a little bit. And the one thing that stands out to me, I've said it before and I'll say it again, is that he cares. It is not all about him, and that makes a huge difference, not only on the field, but in the locker room as well. And I think, a lot of people can speak to this when they say they've had a coach in which if they win, all the praise goes to the players. If they lose, they take all the blame. And the first time I ever met Coach in person was actually after the scrimmage at Seymour, and the first thing he said was, I got to do a better job. I got to do a better job. And to me, at that point, I knew, it's like, okay, this guy gets it. This guy knows what it takes to be a head coach. Because, like I said, Jonah, there is absolutely nothing in this world worse than getting beat and then the coach coming in the locker room and blaming you or your teammates. Because a lot of the times, those teammates are your best friends. You essentially develop what we call an athletic family, a sports family. And that can be more discouraging than anything in the long run. And Jonah, what are your first thoughts, when we talk about Campbell County heading down to Lenoir City? What are you excited for the most, other than the food that we're probably going to get pregame?
I'm excited to see a competitive game. I really think, when they go play with North City, they'll be competitive. And, with a coach like Coach Owenby, where, he cares about the players will care back. They'll play harder for a coach that cares for them. So I really think he's going to get everything he can get out of those players. And maybe with any luck, we'll come out with a win. And that's what you always hope for when you go on the road, is to get a win, because it's never easy. So, I'm excited to see us get a win. That's, that would be my thing I'm most excited for.
Right. And, with everything that has happened, there's not a lot of seniors on this team. It's a fairly young team, so he's really getting to build this program from the ground up. But I don't think it's going to be like, and Jonah, you probably have never looked at this game, period, on paper. Have you heard about the SMU death penalty in the late 80s?
I have not.
So essentially, the NCAA death penalty bans you from competition for a calendar year for repeated recruiting violations. So SMU got caught. They did it again. They got caught. They did it again. Well, finally, in the early 80s, they all had an emergency conference down in New Orleans, and they instituted the repeat violator rule, otherwise known as the death penalty. Well, 1986, guess who came knocking at the door? The NCAA, because they had a player by the name of David Stanley who went in and basically killed the program, went on live TV and had a letter or an envelope from Henry Lee Parker from SMU, and he didn't even have enough common sense to go buy a blank envelope. He sent it with an SMU head on it and said there was money in it. They lost the program for a year, and then they couldn't have any home games the following year. So they decided not to do it for 2 years. Well, their third or fourth game, I think they went to Notre Dame, number 1 in the country. They were a head smaller in some cases, and they didn't stand a chance.
Yeah.
They went to the locker room down, I think they were down like 49-6 or something like that. Coach comes in. Who doesn't think we can beat these guys? One of the guys in the back, Coach, I don't think we can beat these guys. I don't think we're going to have any of that. I don't think we're going to see any of that. Because there is talent up there. It's just building the program up to a point in which we can win consistently.
Yeah. They have talent. They really do. I saw it at the scrimmage I went to. Mm-hmm. You could see that there were flashes. And I think Owenby is going to pull that out of them. And you'll see one after another start hitting these flashes. And then there will be a program. It may take a few years, but there will be a program. I think he can do it.
Well, I do too, and you got to take into account too. Like Coach Owenby's not somebody that we just found on LinkedIn or Indeed. Like this guy has played, or he played at a high level of college football. I mean, the guy graduated, I think, from UAB is where he graduated from and played there. But Jim got a chance to sit down and talk with him yesterday, and then we're going to play you that interview today. This will play tomorrow as well. So when he mentions tonight, he's actually talking about the game tomorrow night. So we're going to play that interview for you real quick and just give you a rundown on what Coach has to say for tomorrow.
This is Jim Freeman along with head coach Taylor Owenby as the Cougars get set to play Lenoir City on the Panthers' home field. Coach, it's been quite a journey for you this season so far.
It has. Being the defense coordinator, last year and then now becoming the head coach, it's been a long process as far as, getting things in the right positions and doing all the little things. I always said that, one of those things is like I used to have to ask one more yes or no, and now I get to make that decision, which is good and bad, obviously. But, it's been a great journey. The kids have been great, and I've really enjoyed being a part of this program.
What kind of memories might this bring back to you being a head coach here, and it's your team now, and maybe some thoughts from times past when you played in high school and college?
There's nothing like Friday nights. I love it, playing in Georgia. When I went to South Forsyth High School, we loved Friday nights, and I know Campbell County loves their Friday nights as well. So it's one of those situations where, I'm enjoying the process, being an assistant, being a coordinator, and now getting to be a head coach is going to be, kind of like a dream come true.
A new team, obviously, for the most part. You've got a lot of returning players on this team. Who are some of the names we'll be looking for and watching tonight on the game and hearing on the radio?
Well, I think, the whole team's got to be involved, obviously throughout the week, practice-wise, scout team-wise, things like that. But, our seniors have done a good job of leading and doing that kind of thing. Offensive line-wise, Jake Lawson's our leader when it comes to that on the line and on the defensive line. He's going to get a lot of playing time on defense as well. Offensively, we're going to look to Austin Jordan, Sam Sexton, Timmy Gibson, Kevin Moore, Braden Graham. We're going to look to him as far as running the football. And I'll tell you, a surprise for me is Eli Lawson coming in, not playing 3 years, just playing baseball and coming in as a senior and playing quarterback for us. He's done a great job. If you could see him in the spring to now, you would agree with me. So I'm really excited about that. Defensively, we got Landon Chadwell and Jordan Perkins coming back at the linebacking core. And then a lot of those skill guys are going to be playing in the secondary and things like that. A young bright spot is also Jack Stooksbury. He's done a great job up until this point. D-line wise, Josh Ramsey's going to play a lot for us. So, we got a lot of guys that are going to get a lot of playing time. So, it's one of those things where it's going to take a team effort. So,
where do we stand with regard to our kicking team, special teams, kicking, punting, and those who will be receiving and returning the football for you?
Our punter is Tyler Kettlehake. He's been doing a good job, as a first-year starter for, the punting team. Kickoffs, we're going to work with Paxton Wormsley, who's a new kid, and then Drew Crowley. They're going to be doing most of our kicking. Returners are going to be those skill guys that I've aforementioned. Timmy Gibson, Austin Jordan will probably be on the return. I'll have Sam Sexton and Austin probably in the backfield as far as, returning punts, things like that.
Who might be a player or two that folks don't know about just yet that might be a surprise player for you this season?
Your guess is as good as mine. I'm gonna be honest with you about that. We've had 2 scrimmages and a jamboree, so it's one of those situations where, come Friday, there might be a kid or two that, surprise us. We've gotten a lot of good young kids, so, they're gonna get opportunities, so, they can make a name for themselves on Friday.
How will the balance go with your passing attack and your running game this season?
We're going to try to be 50-50 as much as possible. It's just one of those situations where if they're calling for us to throw it, we're going to throw it. And if they're calling for us to run it, we're going to run it. So, I try to be as 50-50 as possible on offense and defense. Coach Romero does a great job with the offense. But he's kind of in the same boat as far as I am, as far as thinking about, how balanced we're going to be. As long as we can be balanced, and make the adjustments throughout the game, we're going to be okay.
Well, the task at hand tonight is Lenore City. It's the season opener. You're on the road. What have you learned so far about this Panther team?
They're physical. They're just as physical as they were last year. They got a new head coach, and he's done a great job with them up until this point. They're gonna pound the rock at us, and they're gonna catch us. They're gonna try to catch us off guard in the passing game. They're physical up front defensively as well. So it's just one of those things where we've got to execute. In order to, move the football, and we've got to execute on defense. We got to tackle a lot better than we have been. But, hopefully they've been doing a good job this week. So hopefully we get the job done.
Take us through game day, your preparation on Friday, heading down to Lenore City. How will that unfold with regard to pregame meal and what time you'll head out maybe?
We're probably going to head out around 4:15, 4:30. Hopefully the traffic's not too bad, but, we get these kids up here about 1:45, rocking and rolling. We'll probably get a pregame lift. And then about 3 o'clock-ish, we'll have a pregame meal and then kind of get everything packed up and ready to go.
Well, Coach, we wish you well. Thanks for taking time for us, and have fun tonight.
Well, I appreciate it, and I appreciate everything y'all do.
Our pleasure. We appreciate you, Coach.
Go Cougars.
Jake Miller Sports Talk is taking your calls and listening to you every Thursday at 6 p.m. over WLAF. Hi, this is former Cougar Jake Miller inviting you to join me for 2 hours talking Tennessee Vols, Campbell County Cougars, and beyond. See you at 6 p.m. on WLAF.
FM 100.9 WLAF. We've unlocked the vaults, and we're replaying Casey Kasem's American Top 40, the 70s. This week is from August 23rd, 1975. That's when the Carpenters were playing Solitaire. Ambrosia was holding on to yesterday. The Bee Gees were jive talking. And War wondered, why can't we be friends? You'll hear those songs and all the top 40 hits from August 23rd, 1975, right here on American Top 40, the 70s. Saturday night at 7 on FM 100.9 WLAF.
Cougar fans, this is head coach Taylor Ombie, and we're counting down to kickoff for the 2025 football season. We'll open up on Friday, August 22nd at Lenoir City. We hope to see you at the game, but if not, catch all the action right over here on WLAF.
Casey Kasem has unlocked the American Top 40 vaults and is replaying original shows from the 80s. This week, Casey takes you back to August 11th, 1984. That's when the Jacksons were in a state of shock. John Waite was missing you. Sheila E. was living the glamorous life. And Tina Turner wondered, what's love got to do with it? You'll hear those songs, all the top 40 hits, and the long-distance dedications from August 11th, 1984, right here on American Top 40, the 80s. Sunday night at 8, right here on WLAF, FM 100.9.
FM 100.9 WLAF celebrates its 72nd year being on the air in 2025. We salute Lansdowne Hill and the folks at E.E. Hill & Son Insurance on their 100th year in business in 2025. Congratulations, E.E. Hill & Son Insurance, from your friends at WLAF.
Well, I took a stroll on the old long park holiday. I met a little girl and we stopped to talk. It was a fine soft day. And I asked, good friend, what's a fella to do if her hair is black and her eyes are blue? And I knew right there I'd be taking the world. But I saw Till Pond with a call-away girl.
Back here on Jake Miller Sports Talk, final segment of hour number 1. Jonah, I'm sorry, man. I love this song. I've got to keep it rolling.
I love it too.
So, why are we playing a song about Galway, Ireland? Jonah, as we mentioned earlier in the show, there is a college football game being played this weekend. Iowa State and Kansas State. Two Midwest schools. Why in the world would you play it anywhere other than the Midwest?
I truthfully wish I knew. I think it's one of the most ridiculous things ever that we start off this American sport in an entirely different country. I just don't get it.
Other than this, when is the last time in the past 365 days in which you can think of a game that was played in Ireland, American football, televised, that did not involve Notre Dame?
I can't. I don't understand why you would play anybody other than Notre Dame, or honestly, even Notre Dame playing in Ireland.
Kansas State enters this game as a 3-point favorite, but that is not the topic of conversation that we are going to talk about. You know, if it's a 3-point spread, it's probably going to be a good game. That game kicks off this Saturday, actually, so we get week 0 of college football. That game starts at noon on ESPN, so I will be tuned into it. I'll say that. I will be tuned in.
Yeah, I'll be watching.
It's football. I will watch. Football, eyes, television. That's how this works.
Exactly.
That's how it always works. That's how it's always going to work. But when you look at Iowa State and Kansas State, if you're the athletic director, or if you're, county mayor, city mayor, or even governor in the states in which these schools reside, you got to be thinking, why are we doing this? Unless Aer Lingus, and that's the sponsor, Aer Lingus College Football Classic is the name of this game. But when you look at this from the 30,000-foot view, and Jonah, you've heard me use that term a lot since you've known me, because you have to look at things more than what's just on the surface. The local economy for these games, like we mentioned before, Your local economy benefits so much from athletics.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that be your restaurants, whether that be your apparel stores, or even your sporting goods stores, for that matter. They benefit so much by having things local. I'm not a fan of neutral site games at all. It's like I'm not even a fan of Tennessee going to play Syracuse in Atlanta next weekend. I think it should have been a home and home. That way Knoxville could benefit from it and Syracuse, New York could have benefited from it. I think there's a lot more that can come out of that than sending us to Atlanta to play in a city in which, yeah, you got some alumni there that are going to want to go to the game. But at the end of the day, Atlanta benefits from that. Not Knoxville, not Syracuse, New York. So why are we doing this?
I mean, I got to think money. At the end of the day, that sponsor, the airliners, they got to be paying a crazy amount to be able to pull these colleges to Ireland. That's the only thing that comes to mind for me. I can't think of another reason why they would do it.
Have you ever been to Ireland?
I have not.
I have. Spent 4 days over there. You know what I can tell you about it? Imagine Campbell County without trees on the mountains and rain.
And they call this like a vacation for the players.
You got to also take into account that's about a 9 to 10 hour, maybe even 11-hour flight. I forgot how long it took us to get over there, but I know from London Heathrow to Houston, it took 13 hours. So you got to think jet lag has got to be a thing here. That's not the same type of grass that they're used to playing on over here. That's a completely different type of grass. There's going to be fog. There's going to be rain. It's like Campbell County and Seattle had a baby. That's the best way I can describe it. And I'm just not a fan. I'm not a fan of neutral site games, whether that be in Ireland, whether it be in Atlanta. I mean, you could even throw, the game that we played in Charlotte last year against NC State out there as well. I was not a fan of that at all.
No, there was nobody there. That's the worst part about these neutral site games. There's hardly any fans.
When we mentioned, too, earlier, pricing out the common fan, your common fan is not going to those games.
No.
No, it's the people that can afford to travel that go to those games. And I think it's cool to see other stadiums. I'm all for that. All about that. However, I want my home field advantage, and then we give the other team a chance to have their home field advantage. Case in point, when Tennessee used to play Notre Dame all the time, like back in the 90s and early 2000s, Tennessee and Notre Dame played quite a bit, actually. A lot of people don't realize that. We played in 90, 91, and then we played again in 99 and then 2001. And then we had an 04 and an 05 series that we played against Notre Dame. And UCLA, we played them in the 90s as well as the 2000s. I like games like that.
Yeah.
In which we can go out and it's like, okay, they're coming here, we're going there. Because I'd much rather go and watch a game, say we're playing UCLA, I'd much rather go watch a game at the Rose Bowl, go out and watch UCLA and Tennessee play at the Rose Bowl than to watch Tennessee and UCLA play at, say, the Jerry Dome, Allegiant Stadium, somewhere like that.
It don't have the same atmosphere.
No, it does not. And that's not college football. That's corporate football.
Yeah.
If you want to watch corporate football, go watch the NFL.
That was exactly what I was about to say. That's the NFL.
Didn't the NFL play a game in Mexico?
They did. And I think they're opening the season in Brazil this year.
Why?
I don't get that either.
Folks, common sense.
It's in the name.
I'm trying to word this in a way in which I'm not going to go on a full-blown tirade. But I'm going to put it to you this way. And this is the case for a lot of people, especially people like Roger Goodell, these athletic directors that are making these decisions. They might be the most book-smart people that you'll ever meet. These people are probably very book-smart. That's why they're in the positions that they are. However, they're the type of people that would put a bag of pre-pop popcorn in the microwave and think that's how you're supposed to heat up a popcorn. It's like, no, buddy, it's in a bag for a reason. You're supposed to eat it cold. If you want to throw it in the microwave, go buy the Orville Redenbacher or whatever other brand of popcorn there is. That's what you put in the microwave. You have to explain that to some of these people. That's the type of people that you're dealing with when it comes to stuff like this. It's the unfortunate thing about it, but it is the truth. Jonah, I'll tell you this much, man. I would much rather have a home and home, and we've already seen this once, and the final game that we played against them was fantastic. Could you imagine a home and home with Miami?
That would be awesome. It really would be.
A home and home with Miami, a home and home with Florida State, Clemson.
Yeah, I would definitely want to see that. I mean, one of them coming to Neyland, it'd be great. And you know, I got to say about the neutral sites, I have my feelings about them. I don't like them, but I will say the Battle at Bristol, that one was a classic. If we could find a way to get more neutral site games like that,
you couldn't see anything though.
From the person
Even the
there,
camera guy had trouble.
from watching it on TV, it was great. It looked awesome, but I can imagine being there. The view probably wasn't great.
No.
And you know, you see that baseball game that was up there. I saw some pictures from the stands. You couldn't see what was going on.
No, you basically needed 2 sniper scopes to hold up to your eyes just to see where the ball was. Because you got to think, it's hard enough to see a football. Imagine trying to see a baseball.
Yeah. Any picture I saw, you couldn't see anything. But something about that crowd was electric to see.
Oh, it was. And it was probably because of all the pregame festivities that led into it.
Yeah, it had to have been.
It's probably a fun time. I had drill that weekend, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't go either. I had to watch it on TV.
Yeah. I was in my ACUs down at Fort McClellan, Alabama. I think that's where we were. Wherever it was, right outside of Birmingham.
But hey, you got to watch an exciting game.
It was muggy. It was in government barracks. Not even like a little dorm. No. Just an open bay. And we're gathered around a TV. And then people are getting mad because they couldn't watch whatever episode of whatever was on Sci-Fi. It's like, guess what, buddy? It just means more.
It really does.
It just means more. But as far as the neutral site game for Tennessee goes, there's 2 things to take into account here. Whether these have any impact on this game or the rest of the season, I don't know. You look at the last time that Tennessee played Syracuse in a dome to open up the year. That was 1998. They went on to win the national title. But the past 2 coaches that have opened up their year in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, Kickoff, Classic, whatever they're calling it now, both of them ended up fired at the end of the year. They both wore the leather helmet. It was Derek Dooley, led by Cordero Patterson, Tyler Bray, and Justin Hunter. He was fired that year. Then you had Butch Jones. He put on the leather helmet. He was fired that year. I don't think we're going to see that with Josh Heupel because he's earned enough keep, with who he has beaten, how well he has done, and been able to accomplish stuff that has not been accomplished at Tennessee in well over, you can even argue 20 years at this point, because the last time that we were ranked as high as we were when the college football playoff rankings came out in 2022 was probably when we were going into the SEC championship game in 2001 against LSU.
Yeah.
That's the highest that we had been ranked since that day. That was the first time we'd been ranked number 1 since 1998. I don't even think we started out the year ranked number 1 in 1999. I think we were number 2 or number 3. And then, of course, your second game of the year, you go down to Florida and you lose. But that's neither here nor there. But I guess I'm just excited to see what's going to happen. I don't know if I'm necessarily excited to see what Tennessee does this year yet. But I'm excited to watch this first game because that's going to give me a good idea of what's going to happen. Because in years past, it's like, okay, we got a quarterback returning, we got this returning, we're all good here. Okay, let's see what this team can do. And this year, it's kind of a wild card. And I think that's speaking volumes to what we're now starting to experience with the transfer portal, with NIL. And now you look at this, it's like, okay, well, what do we have this year? It's like college football has turned into AAU basketball. We're trying to assemble a new team every year. And Jonah, when you were in school, you started to experience it like as it was happening. Like as the first, ruling came down, it's like, hey, this is now legal. We can do this now. And nobody knew what to do.
Yeah.
It's like, what is market value?
That's what, they always, you hear anybody talking, they'd call it the Wild Wild West. Mm-hmm. Because it was just, there was no rules.
Pandora's box was been opened. You can't shut it.
I mean, that's how it was, though.
It was.
Everybody was paid whatever they were paid.
Mhm.
I mean, Bryce Underwood's making what, $8 million this year, something like that, to play for Michigan. I mean, whatever billionaire you have in your pocket is how good your team's going to be.
If I played college football back when I, like, say I was a star quarterback or whatever at Tennessee in the year 2013, that's when, you know, I went to school or whatever, or no, 2014 was my first year because of basic training. Anyway, if I was the starting quarterback for Tennessee, you know what would have made me happy?
What's that?
A free pizza and an order of cheese bread after the game. That would have made me happy. I would have been fine. But that was considered illegal.
Yeah. That's what's crazy to me, is that was illegal. But paying these guys $8 million is perfectly okay.
So how do we go from the situation of you can give a recruit a bagel, but you can't give them cream cheese because cream cheese is the luxury, that's considered a violation? How do we go from that to, hey guys, here's a Lamborghini, here's a G-Wagon, here's $8 million? We literally went from that to what we have now overnight. There was no gradual buildup. It was all just, oh, hey, we can do this now. We can do this.
You know, it makes me laugh because that's why we fired Jeremy Pruitt. You know, that was part of his issues, was the money. You know, him paying players in the McDonald's bags or whatever it may have been. That was the issue there. That's why he lost the team. He was paying players, and now that's totally legal. You know, minus everything else that happened after that, of course.
And I think I told you all the story on air about, well, you don't have to pay it back. Well, there was another story that I was told by a former Tennessee assistant in which he and another one of the positions coaches were in the recruits' living room, and this was like a top 5, like, safety in the country. And it was between us and Alabama, and this was his first year. So they're in there, they're hyping Pruitt up. It's like, this is one of the best defensive minds that you're ever going to see. He's one of the best in college football. So they're dressed real nice and whatnot because it's like, hey, this is our last effort. We got to get this guy. And he was considering Tennessee. Jeremy Pruitt shows up. His pants were wrinkled. He had on a quarter zip that was 3 sizes too big. He walks through the front door. The mom pulls the guy that I know into the kitchen. Sir, who is that? That's Pruitt. That's Pruitt. That is Pruitt. I think they ate dinner, got in the car, and went to the airport, and I'm pretty sure they never talked again because the guy committed to Alabama.
Yeah. You can't show up to a recruit's house looking like that.
Well, and then Greg McElroy was telling the story about when Jeremy Pruitt was at the wrong house. And this is when Lane Kiffin was here, and Saban was telling him, do not let Tennessee in that house. Do not let Tennessee in that house. I think it was either Greg McElroy or A.J. McCarron. I think it might have been actually A.J. McCarron. But A.J. tells Saban's like, yeah, just talk to Tennessee. Saban calls Pruitt. Why did you let them in the house? Well, I didn't. They never showed up. And he's like, where are you at? Gives him the address. Pruitt, you're at the wrong house. That's what we were dealing with. That is the kind of, oh my goodness, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. That is in the past. It is in the past, and we are in the present. And if you look towards the past or the present, you are certain to miss the future. Guys, Jake Miller Sports Talk is presented by the Marlowe Agency with Shelter Insurance. Derek Marlowe and Company are here to serve you and protect not only your assets, but protect you as well. Whether it's your car, your boat, your home, your business, or your life, the Marlowe Agency does it all. Give them a call today at 423-352-7735. That's the Marlowe Agency with Shelter Insurance, 423-352-7735, and let them know you heard about them right here on WLAF. Stay with us. Hour number 2 of Jake Miller Sports Talk coming up right here on WLAF.
Jake Miller Sports Talk is taking your calls and listening to you every Thursday at 6 p.m. over WLAF. Hi, this is former Cougar Jake Miller inviting you to join me for 2 hours of talking Tennessee Vols, Campbell County Cougars, and beyond. See you at 6 p.m. on WLAF.
FM 100.9 WLAF. We've unlocked the vaults, and we're replaying Casey Kasem's American Top 40, the 70s. This week is from August 23rd, 1975. That's when the Carpenters were playing Solitaire. Ambrosia was holding on to yesterday. The Bee Gees were jive talking. And War wondered, why can't we be friends? You'll hear those songs and all the top 40 hits from August 23rd, 1975, right here on American Top 40, the 70s. Saturday night at 7 on FM 100.9 WLAF.
This is AM 1450 and FM 100.9. WLAF La Follette, the home of American Top 40, the 70s with Casey Kasem.
Cougar fans, this is head coach Taylor Ombie, and we're counting down to kickoff for the 2025 football season. We'll open up on Friday, August 22nd at Lenoir City. We hope to see you at the game, but if not, catch all the action right over here on WLAF.
Casey Kasem has unlocked the American Top 40 vaults and is replaying original shows from the 80s. This week, Casey takes you back to August 11th, 1984. That's when the Jacksons were in a state of shock. John Waite was missing you. Sheila E. was living the glamorous life. And Tina Turner wondered, what's love got to do with it? You'll hear those songs, all the top 40 hits, and the long-distance dedications from August 11th, 1984, right here on American Top 40, the 80s. Sunday night at 8, right here on WLAF, FM 100.9.
This is Cougar head football coach Taylor Ombie, and you're listening to my radio station, WLAF.
Jake Miller Sports Talk is taking your calls and listening to you every Thursday at 6 p.m. over WLAF. Hi, this is former Cougar Jake Miller inviting you to join me for 2 hours of talking Tennessee Vols, Campbell County Cougars, and beyond. See you at 6 p.m. on WLAF.
FM 100.9 WLAF.
WLAF 1450, Jake Miller Sports Talk continues on as we get ready to kick off the second hour, the final hour here on the show. We're going to hit some headlines at the top of the hour. The SEC is scheduled to go to a 9-game conference schedule starting in 2026. This news just dropping within the last 30 minutes, actually. Just being released by ESPN. So I guess everybody's getting what they wanted, Jonah. We want more SEC football. We got it.
I don't know. I feel like they've kind of gotten bullied into it. Everybody was saying, oh, the SEC, they always got to play their cupcakes. They put in there where they have to, just a few years ago, where they have to play that one out-of-conference Power 4, Power 5 school. And now they got bullied into a nine-game conference schedule.
Well, and the only team last year that you can say had a cupcake schedule is Missouri.
Yeah.
And they're out there touting around like they're the best in the business, like Tennessee's a rival. It's like, buddy, we don't even consider you like a part of us. It's like you're an outsider. Like they're basically getting the treatment, them and Texas A&M still. Like we've welcomed Oklahoma and Texas in more than we ever welcomed in Missouri.
Yeah.
Because Missouri, they're kind of like Arkansas was in the early 90s when they first came to the SEC. Because Arkansas and South Carolina both joined the conference in 1992. Before that, South Carolina was independent, and Arkansas was a part of the Southwest Conference, which had basically 8 Texas schools, and it was them. So they had already felt like an outsider for years in their own conference. Well, then they're even more of an outsider when they get into the SEC because there's no built rivalry there. Like they consider Tennessee a rival. It's like, I don't know why. Like we don't even talk about you. Like if you're Tennessee, you're talking about Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Kentucky.
Yeah. They beat us once, and they're like, oh, that's a rival.
Yeah. And the thing, too, like with Missouri, is like even though Texas and Oklahoma come to the SEC 12 years after they did, we've welcomed Texas and Oklahoma more than we ever welcomed Missouri. Even Texas A&M, which Texas A&M has earned their keep.
They have.
Over the last little bit. But Missouri played the biggest cupcake schedule, even conference schedule last year. And it's like, you all had that schedule, and that's what you did with it? Okay. Whatever.
I mean, that schedule, they should have been in the playoffs. That was just, it was too easy. I don't know how they managed to skirt through the scheduling process and have that kind of a schedule.
Up next, we have Lady Vols player Ruby Whitehorn. She was arrested on domestic assault and aggravated burglary last week, I do believe. She is now suspended indefinitely because of what she has done. And these are serious charges. These are not just misdemeanors. These are felony charges. I don't even know. Like, cause you gotta think, she started in 28 of the 34 games they played last year. Averaged 11.6 points per game. You don't need to put yourself in situations like this if you're that level of a player. And this does not just go for the Lady Vols. This goes for the men's team. This goes for the football players. This goes for anybody that is a student athlete. You never put yourself in a position to where something like this could possibly happen.
Yeah. It can't happen.
No. So we'll continue to track this. I'm sure that we'll hear something from the Lady Vols coaching staff up soon. Speaking of the Lady Vols, Jonah, you hit me with something very interesting.
Yeah, it was something random that I was kind of just looking on my phone, and I saw it, and I was like, that is really cool, when I saw that they beat the number 1 team, North Carolina, in soccer. The Lady Vols beat them in soccer. And I was like, okay, whatever. Didn't think a whole lot about it, quite honestly. And then I see here it was earlier today, I think might have been last night, they beat number 4 UCLA. And now I'm sitting here wondering, do we have a soccer team? I don't know.
I could not tell you a single player on that team.
Me neither.
And then we got 2 funny ones for you. A Maryland man took inspiration from another vehicle's license plate and bought a Pick 5 lottery ticket that earned him $200,000. He was on a 70-mile commute to work when his lottery inspiration struck. He said, I was going to work and stopped at a red light in Charlotte Hall, and I noticed a tag on a truck, 19363. He used those numbers to buy tickets for the August 6th evening and August 7th midday Pick 5 drawings, and he won a license plate.
What are the chances that happens?
The winner said there is one celebratory purchase that he is going to have. Well, 2. He's going to renovate his old house, and he's going to go eat a crab cake. I mean, I can't really blame the man because I'm probably getting a sack full of crystals, not going to lie.
Yeah.
I'm going to wash it down with a Diet Coke. That way it cancels out the calories. We got one more for you. A lottery-related. A North Carolina man celebrated his 31st wedding anniversary with a $50 scratch-off lottery ticket that earned him $100,000.
What you could do with that.
He said it was our 31st wedding anniversary on Sunday. He said his wife was the first person he told when he won the $100,000 prize. I texted her a picture of the ticket, and she said, call me. He said winning big was the perfect anniversary gift. It was pretty awesome. It's a blessing. He said that his prize money will go towards helping family and investing in his tree cutting business. Do you think he's more happy about the anniversary or the $100,000?
I don't know. I feel like the answer should be anniversary, but...
Well, the answer should be anniversary. But in the back of his mind, he's thinking, oh my goodness, I've got $100,000. I'm going to go to Home Depot and I'm going to buy those red tools. They got some good chainsaws right now. They got some really good chainsaws. They got a deal on a chainsaw right now. I'm going to go buy one of them red chainsaws at the Home Depot.
That's what any man would think with a tree cutting business, wouldn't it?
I mean, top handle chainsaw. It's lightweight, very ergonomic. Pop a 12.0 battery in it, you are good to go.
Them battery powered chainsaws are something else.
I'm not going to lie. I was skeptical about them at first, and then I used one. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm never going back.
Yeah, I used gas ones until just recently. We got a little electric one.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't go back at this point.
No,
that thing's so nice. It's so easy. Just take it wherever you need to and use it. No big deal.
It's like switching from a gas powered weed eater to a battery powered one. If you get a good enough battery in it, the thing will go.
It'll go.
And you don't have to worry about carburetors, spark plugs, or any of that.
Yeah.
That is the best part about that. That is your odd news for the day, presented to you by Charlie's Pizza. Go to some Charlie's Pizza. My favorite order, a medium pepperoni with extra cheese and a side of cheese sticks. I love cheese. All about some cheese. All about it. Campbell County. We heard the interview with Coach OMB, middle of the first hour, and I'm interested to see tomorrow because one of the things that Coach had told me after the scrimmage against Seymour was they didn't really open up the playbook too much. I'm going to give you a hot take here. I don't necessarily think we're going to see it all open up tomorrow.
I don't think so either.
I don't think we see it all open up. And I say that because you got to keep something in bag for later in the year when you need to use it, especially if you have a playoff opportunity on the line. Then you pull out all the stops. Then you open it up. You start showing things that have not been done before. And of course, these are things that are being practiced.
Oh, yeah, every week.
They've been practicing for weeks. But you're saving that for a game like Clinton, a game like Halls, William Blunt, later in the year. We'll give you a quick rundown of the Campbell County schedule this year. Of course, tomorrow they will be at Lenore City, that game starting at 7 o'clock. The following week, we'll be at Cherokee up in Rogersville, I do believe. That's where that's at. That game will start at 7:30 and then travel to Karns. So we got 3 road games to open up the year, followed by 2 home games against Knox Central on September the 12th and September 19th. We'll take on West. Very next week, we'll take on Clinton. And then the week after that, travel to Powell. I've already got the meal picked out for us for Powell and Karns.
Where are we going?
No, we can't give away the bread for free.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Hey, no free bread. No free bread. And then after we play Powell, we take on Sweetwater. That is going to be the homecoming game. That will be the homecoming game. And then you get a week off to play Halls, and then you finish out the year with William Blunt coming to the Hill. And right now we actually have a game going on, and it is the game of the week. Matthew is bringing us an update as we speak. Matthew, what we got?
It's 0-0. That's the update.
0-0. Halls has not put a single point on the board.
It's hard-hitting news this hour.
Hard-hitting news this hour as Halls playing Oak Ridge. Is that game at Oak Ridge or is it at Halls? Who's wearing white?
Looks like it's at Halls.
Looks like the game is at Halls. This is going to be number 13 versus number 9. This is it has implications for Campbell County because we play both of those teams. But at the end of the day, got a lot of games going on this week throughout the region. Knoxville Catholic is taking on Riverdale tomorrow, as a matter of fact. That one, don't really know what to say. Catholic's just going to be good. That's all you can say is Catholic's going to be good. They're always good.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was about to say the same thing.
And then
Catholic's good.
They are good. And then you have other games throughout the region. You have Central taking on Dobbins-Bennett. We got a couple of others here. Obviously, Anderson County and Powell. That's going to be a big one tomorrow. That's always going to be a big battle. Just a quick ride down I-75. You basically get on the interstate if you're Anderson County, and then you go and you get right off the interstate down on Emory Road.
That's a game. It's going to be a game every year.
It's going to be a big game, and it's going to be a big game every year. Of course, you have William Blunt taking on Loudon tomorrow as well. So there's got to be a lot of games that are going on tomorrow. We're going to try to bring you as much coverage because I'll be there, covering the game on the sideline. So we're going to see what we can do about getting you scores as we get them. Of course, Les and Brent, they do a fantastic job up in the booth. They'll probably get to it before I do because I'm going to have my own thing that I've got going on, but I'll try to keep up as much as I can. But, as I mentioned in the first hour, this is going to be a situation in which Coach Ownby is going to need time to build. And everything will work itself out in the end here. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I think everybody's kind of looking forward to seeing what Coach Ownby's got going for us as his era begins tomorrow, 7 o'clock, down in Lenore City. I'm kind of peeved at something that's going on down there right now, though. My favorite place to eat on my lunch, closed, gone. Even the sign's gone.
Oh, man, that's the worst.
The worst is like when you want to go up to the door and just get a smell. Like, I want to smell it one more time. I want to smell it one more time, and I can't even do that.
So what was this place called?
It was basically imagine Chipotle, but better and fresher.
This sounds good.
Yeah.
It sounds real good.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you talk about a sad day, and the portion sizes were insane. Or fantastic. Loved it. And now they're gone. And now they're gone.
And Chipotle's just not going to be the same.
Yeah, Chipotle it's not. Like, after you go to Chipotle, after eating that for 6 months of your life, while they were still open, yeah, you just don't get that anymore. But, jumping back to Tennessee football program, one thing that I forgot to mention, Jonah, during that segment where we were talking about the fact that Neyland is now going to be a cashless venue is you now get Wi-Fi.
Oh, great.
Yay, Wi-Fi. Guess what? If you have to connect to Wi-Fi during the game, then you need to watch the game at home.
Yeah, you shouldn't be there.
If you're that worried about your internet at a football game, you do not need to be at the football game. It's kind of like when someone goes to a Tennessee basketball game, and the reason I'm saying this is because I saw it happen. I saw it happen on TV, and I talked about it for a week when it happened. Do you remember the Tennessee-Kentucky game? This would have been probably 2022, or actually, yes, it would have been 2022 or 2023, in which a lady was sitting courtside, which I'm not a fan of the students not being courtside. I don't like that we have them split behind the goals.
No, I don't either.
It's cool when you're shooting free throws, but putting students in the upper deck should never be an option. They need to have the first 10 rows all the way around Thompson Bowling Arena. I'm a big proponent of that, always will be.
I agree.
Not someone sitting there with their dog in their lap in the front row trying to cheer on the basketball team.
Because those people ain't cheering.
No, they're not. And if they are, it's a... That's all you're getting.
That's all you get from
That's all
them.
it's ever going to be. That's all it's ever going to be. I can't wait for real sports to start back.
Oh, I know.
You know why?
Why?
Because this is starting to feel like we've already hit on all the hard-hitting stuff. And now it's almost like that summertime sports talk in which you come in and you talk about food. Matthew was asking us before we came back on the air, so what do you talk about during the summer, like during basically the dead period of sports? I'm like, well, we come in and we talk about food. We talk about life. That's all you do. You got nothing else.
It's awesome to talk about food.
Oh, I'll talk about food any day. I love food. I might start a side series solely related to food. Solely related to food. When we return, I wanted to hit on something in regards to the NFL, because something happened this week in which this might have implications for a rival of the Tennessee Titans. And this is something I did not expect, but we talk about NIL in college. Well, guess what? It has now bled over into the NFL, and this is going to be something in which we might see more and more of going forward. Even though we've already seen it in the past, I think it has much more implication now than what it ever did back then. Stay with us. Jake Miller Sports Talk continues right here on WLAF.
Jake Miller Sports Talk is taking your calls and listening to you every Thursday at 6 p.m. over WLAF. Hi, this is former Cougar Jake Miller inviting you to join me for 2 hours of talking Tennessee Vols, Campbell County Cougars, and beyond. See you at 6 p.m. on WLAF.
FM 100.9 WLAF. We've unlocked the vaults, and we're replaying Casey Kasem's American Top 40, the 70s. This week is from August 23rd, 1975. That's when the Carpenters were playing Solitaire. Ambrosia was holding on to yesterday. The Bee Gees were jive talking. And War wondered, why can't we be friends? You'll hear those songs and all the top 40 hits from August 23rd, 1975, right here on American Top 40, the 70s. Saturday night at 7 on FM 100.9 WLAF.
Cougar fans, this is head coach Taylor Ombie, and we're counting down to kickoff for the 2025 football season. We'll open up on Friday, August 22nd at Lenoir City. We hope to see you at the game, but if not, catch all the action right over here on WLAF.
Casey Kasem has unlocked the American Top 40 vaults and is replaying original shows from the 80s. This week, Casey takes you back to August 11th, 1984. That's when the Jacksons were in a state of shock. John Waite was missing you. Sheila E. was living the glamorous life. And Tina Turner wondered, what's love got to do with it? You'll hear those songs, all the top 40 hits, and the long-distance dedications from August 11th, 1984, right here on American Top 40, the 80s. Sunday night at 8, right here on WLAF, FM 100.9.
This is Jason Kids, head basketball coach of the Lady Cougars. Listen to my favorite radio station, WLAF.
FM 100.9 WLAF.
Here on Jake Miller Sports Talk right here on WLAF. Jake Miller, Jonah Brassfield coming to you for about 40 more minutes as we wind down this Thursday. Get ready to head to Lenoir City tomorrow to watch Campbell County take on the Lenoir City Panthers. Teased a little bit before the break about something happening with the Indianapolis Colts, and it's the fact that they have chosen to start Daniel Jones over Anthony Richardson. This was something I guess you can say I'm kind of surprised, but not really. But when you see the modern age of how people are acting when they don't get what they want, you're starting to see people transfer. Well, when you get to the pros, you have to request a trade. Now, it is up to that team whether or not they want to trade you. It's like, okay, what can we get in return? You want to trade a bum, you're going to get bums. Trade someone with talent. It's like, okay, we don't necessarily have to go pound for pound what we have, but we can build some key pieces around what we have that will equal that same salary, because it's all based off of salary. If anybody could just waltz in and everything be okay, it's like, okay, well, I want to give you this guy that's making $14 million for 5 guys that are making $60 million combined. Like, it just doesn't work that way. There's financial trade rules that apply as well. But Jonah, when you look at the NFL, we talk about the college game quite a bit and transfers. Do you see toxicity coming to the professional locker rooms more so than what it already has?
Yeah, I really do. I mean, I think you're going to see these college guys that have been, if they don't get their way, they're out.
Well, we kind of saw it already with Ace Bailey in the NBA draft, for example.
Yeah.
Basically, like, don't draft me. I know where I want to be drafted. Sir, that's not how that works. You're not playing NBA 2K. You're not playing NBA Live. Well, no, NBA Live is not a thing anymore. My bad. But at the end of the day, it's like, listen, you're getting an opportunity to go play a stupid game and make millions of dollars doing it. And not everybody gets that opportunity. But you are gifted enough. God give you enough talent to go and play that game. Appreciate what you have.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the mindset is with Anthony Richardson. You got people on Twitter, it's like, oh, he'll request a trade, he'll do this, he'll do that. Nobody really knows. Nobody knows what's going through his mind. Is he upset that he lost a starting job? I would assume so. I'd be upset if I lost a starting job and I thought it was mine. But at the end of the day, you got to just roll with the flow, especially when you have that kind of contract with the money he's making. You just got to go with it.
Yeah, he's making plenty of money. And, I mean, from the way it was worded, it sounds like Daniel Jones is going to be the starter of the whole year. Like, there's no, oh, well, he has a bad game, we'll just throw Anthony Richardson in. Because that's kind of what they did last year where, Anthony Richardson had a bad game. I forget who their backup even was, but they would throw him in. And it was just
Wasn't it Joe Flacco for a minute?
Was it Joe Flacco? I don't remember. I really don't.
I don't either. I didn't watch much NFL last year.
I didn't either. I watched Titans. They were awful. Obviously, they got the number 1 pick, so I didn't care. I didn't watch much. But that's, I mean, when you look at the Colts and Anthony Richardson, like, should he request a trade? You know, honestly, I kind of feel like he should. I'm one of those people. I mean, he's not, maybe not in a way of getting his way, but are they going to give him the best chance to succeed? Because his clock is running out.
Well, you can see, too, in cases like a buddy and I were talking the other day, think about Jameis Winston. Do you think he was given a fair shot considering what happened at Florida State?
No, I don't.
So I'm gonna say this about the whole crab legs deal. Because if you don't know, the reason Jameis Winston got in trouble at Florida State the first time, we're not going to get into what happened the second time, but the first time was over crab legs. I don't think that Jameis Winston was stealing crab legs. I think that there was a guy at Publix that he knew that gave it to him, and then he fell on the sword for Florida State.
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly believe that. Do you think that followed him through his NFL career and basically didn't give him the same opportunities as other quarterbacks?
I think it definitely did, but I also feel like Tampa did everything they could to give Jameis a great team. I mean, you kind of saw that with Tom Brady stepping in right after Jameis and winning a Super Bowl with basically the same team.
I mean, they added Gronk. Yeah.
But you can't throw 30 interceptions in a year. I mean, his famous 30 for 30 a year. Like, you can't do that.
You cannot.
You got to love Jameis Winston, but you can't throw 30 interceptions.
Some other games of interest this weekend, of course, we mentioned Iowa State and Kansas State. That game will be played in Ireland. Kansas State is a 3-point favorite in that game with the over-under set at 51.5, so it'll probably be about a mid-20s to low-30s game in that regard. And then you have Idaho State and UNLV. That one is not even going to be broadcasted on a major network because it's not even being picked up. Then at 6:30, you have Fresno State taking on Kansas. Kansas a 12.5-point favorite in that game. Probably not going to watch.
No.
Sam Houston in Western Kentucky.
That one could be interesting.
Some of these lower tier games, like you hear Sam Houston, Western Kentucky, and everybody just easily brushes it off. I mean, 2 Conference USA teams, how exciting can it be? Sometimes you get some of the most exciting offense during those games.
You never know what you're going to get in those games.
The over-under in that first game that we mentioned was 49.5. The over-under in this game is 60.5. And what that means, if you're not familiar with betting, is that means the odds makers are predicting that 60 or more combined points between the two teams are going to get scored in this game. So you're going to have a high-scoring game is what they are predicting. Western Kentucky is favored by 10.5 in that one. And oddly enough, the 7:30 game being played in Honolulu, Hawaii, Stanford and Hawaii, in which Hawaii is favored over Stanford, who is in the ACC. I wanted to say Pac-12 so bad, RIP. This one is projected to go right at 50.5 points.
I think that's going to be an interesting game to watch.
I think it'll be interesting to watch, too. I think back when I think of Hawaii, I think of early 2000s Hawaii. They were so fun to watch. Very good team. I think they went undefeated at one point.
I don't remember the quarterback's name, but I know he set some passing records around that time too, because they was running that air raid offense.
And they were one of the first to do it at the time.
Yeah. And
it was fun.
I wasn't watching football then, but I've seen the highlights. Man, it looked like a fun brand of football to watch.
You remember Tavon Austin?
Oh, yeah.
Man.
I mean, if you haven't seen his highlight tape,
if you've been on TikTok and you're a sports fan, you've seen it.
You've had to have.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, is if you have ever seen him play and realize how just magical it was. I mean, that's what it was. It was magic.
That Oklahoma game. There is no other words other than just magic.
And as we go on the air, actually, this game will start before we go on the air next Thursday. Boise State and South Florida in Tampa, in which Boise State is a 6.5-point favorite. And, you look at this, and I've kind of got to side with South Florida.
Me too.
And the reason being, Alex Golesh, former Tennessee offensive coordinator, is at the helm there. He gave Nick Saban everything he had in Saban's last year. I mean, giving him the business. And at one point, I was like, they might actually have a chance to win.
I turned the game on.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was going to be a blowout, and I said, wait a minute. This game's close. So,
Colt Brennan is the quarterback you're thinking of. They were
Colt
undefeated
Brennan.
until the Sugar Bowl. Shout out to One in Stripes. Thank you so much for sending that in. Got listeners all over the place.
they know a lot of names.
Shout out to Virginia. Then we got a couple others. Ohio and Rutgers. Meh.
Nah, who cares?
Meh. Other games on Thursday. Louisiana Lafayette and Bowling Green. Don't care. Here's one that you might want to pay a little bit of attention to. 7 o'clock on the ACC network. East Carolina and North Carolina State, in which NC State is an 11.5 point favorite. Something about that game just makes me feel a certain way.
Eastern Carolina, man. You got to watch out for them.
And then we have Danny White and Josh Heupel University, UCF, taking on Jacksonville State, in which UCF is an 18-point favorite. Now, Jacksonville State is one of these teams in which you look back, because they had actually upset Ole Miss back in the earlier part of the last decade. And it's like, how in the world did they pull this off? It's like, oh, they're one of the best teams at the time was FCS, or Division I AA, as I grew up knowing it. And then you have a few more on here. It's like, I'm not even going to talk about this. Oh, speaking of our cupcake, Missouri. Want to take a guess at who they're taking on next Thursday?
I probably don't even know the school.
Take a wild guess.
Is it someone like North Carolina A&T or something?
Central Arkansas.
Central Arkansas. Missouri and their cupcakes.
And the Fighting University of George Hooks, Duke, will take on Elon, in which Duke is a 33.5 point favorite. He actually texted me at the start of the show. He's like, don't make fun of New Balance because Cooper Flagg wears New Balance. It's like, okay. Gotcha, George. I mean, there's just not much going on Thursday, which, I mean, I guess you could say Nebraska and Cincinnati. That game is going to be at 9 o'clock on ESPN. We'll talk a little bit more about that next week if we have time. It's going to be more focused around Tennessee and Campbell County. But Nebraska, a 6.5 point favorite in that game. And this game is actually going to be played at Arrowhead in Kansas City. Let's talk about neutral site games, man.
Same thing. I mean, I would much rather see that at Nebraska's historic stadium than Arrowhead.
Yes. Not much going on Friday. I call that like it is. You have Auburn and Baylor, which Auburn's a 2.5 point favorite. Auburn did not look good last year.
No. And they think Jackson Arnold is their savior.
And this is going to sound weird coming from a Tennessee fan, but I almost want to see Auburn do well.
Yeah. I would like to see it. I've always liked Auburn, And again, it's weird coming from Mississippi State alum, Tennessee fan. That's a weird one, but
I'm sure Matt in Dallas is probably not happy about the fact that I'm choosing Auburn over Baylor in that one. And then you have Georgia Tech and Colorado. Georgia Tech, a 4-point favorite in that one.
I hope Georgia Tech wins.
Me too, buddy. Me too.
I look at those two coaches. I love Georgia Tech's head coach. He is so passionate, and I don't care for Deion. I wish I did, but I don't.
They retired 2 jerseys for guys that didn't even sniff the college football playoff.
It just don't make sense.
And then, of course, next Saturday, you have 2 games in which I'm probably going to have my YouTube TV going, and I'm going to have to split the screens. Because on Fox, you have Texas and Ohio State, in which Ohio State is favored in that game by 2 points. I don't know which way this one's going to go, but honestly, if you are putting money on this, I think you go in the favor of Ohio State. They're a 2-point favorite in this right now. The get-in price to that game is $385.
Talk about the general fan being priced out.
Buddy. The cream of the crop can get into this game.
Yeah.
And then, of course, at the same time, you got Tennessee and Syracuse. Your guys, Mississippi State, will take on Southern Miss, in which y'all are a 12-point favorite in that game.
That game's scary. I'll tell you.
And it's in Hattiesburg.
Yeah. They're playing a home-and-home with Southern Miss. That tells you the state of our football program.
That ain't good. It ain't good. As Martin would say. Miss Martin. Kentucky taking on Toledo, in which they're only a 7.5-point favorite. You know, it makes me really wonder, if you're a big Kentucky fan in this area, like our friend Zach, for example, you look at this and you're only a 7.5-point favorite against Toledo. What's going through your mind? I'm kind of scared.
You're really scared.
It's like, why are we only a 7.5-point favorite against Toledo?
Do you think it has something to do with what they did to Mississippi State? They showed that they could go to the SEC and beat a team.
It very well could. And then, of course, we're going to look at some other games going on in the SEC because that's really the only conference that's going to matter this year. I mean, Ohio State's going to be good. We know they're going to be good.
It just means more.
UCLA is not going to do anything. I'm fully behind that thought. They're not going to do anything.
Only if they had a quarterback.
Yeah. Good luck. Good luck. Marshall taking on Georgia. That's going to be a blowout. No need to tune into that. Why is that on ESPN? That should not be on ESPN. Then you have the 3:30 ABC game, which is Alabama and Florida State at Doak Campbell Stadium in Tallahassee. Alabama a 13.5-point favorite. I'd take that.
I'd take it. I don't know, though. Their starting quarterback, is it Ty Simpson?
Yep.
Is that who they're starting? He's not played yet. I think he played that USF game and got beat out by Jalen Milroe during that game.
They hurt Jalen Milroe.
Yeah. So has he improved? That's my concern.
I hope not.
Me too. He should have come to Tennessee. He should have been the guy.
He should have been the guy, but there was some things going on there at the time too that they didn't want to talk about and nobody really wanted to talk about, so we just didn't talk about it.
Yep.
Then of course you have UTSA taking on Texas A&M, and really the only huge SEC game going on is you have LSU and Clemson at Clemson, in which Clemson is a 4-point favorite. Clemson ranked number 4 to start the year. And then on Sunday, you get a little bit of a bonus. We'll call it that. We'll call it a bonus. You get Virginia Tech and South Carolina, in which South Carolina is an 8-point favorite, but they're ranked number 13 in the country. I thought South Carolina was supposed to be this big conglomerate. We were told that they were going to be good.
I don't know where that's come from. I really don't. What do they have other than Lenoris Sellers and one pass rusher? What else do they have?
An absolute clown of a coach. That's what they have.
Now, they do have one of the best mascots.
I don't even want to look at that thing. I can't stand that thing. I'm getting flashbacks of 2022 just thinking about it. It's absolutely terrible. Why would you want that as your mascot? Why? Just give me one good reason why.
Oh, all the jokes that are made about it.
Oh, there's a lot of jokes.
There's a ton
Especially
of jokes.
when DX got a hold of it in the mid-2000s. There's a lot of jokes that you can make about South Carolina's mascot, which we will not make on air.
No, we can't make those on air.
I enjoy coming in and doing this every Thursday.
I do too.
It brings an added element to my life. I don't want to lose that. Because if we start talking about South Carolina's mascot, there it goes.
There it goes.
Because one thing starts and then it leads to another, and then all of a sudden it's just all bad. It's just all bad, and there is absolutely nothing that you can do about it. Guys, once again, this show is presented by the Marlowe Agency. Give them a call today. Call Derek up there at Shelter Insurance. He will make sure that you are taken care of, whether it is your home, your boat, your life, your house, whatever it may be. Derek has got you covered. Stay with us. Final segment of the program coming up right here on WLAF.
Jake Miller Sports Talk is taking your calls and listening to you every Thursday at 6 p.m. over WLAF. Hi, this is former Cougar Jake Miller inviting you to join me for 2 hours of talking Tennessee Vols, Campbell County Cougars, and beyond. See you at 6 p.m. on WLAF.
FM 100.9 WLAF. We've unlocked the vaults, and we're replaying Casey Kasem's American Top 40, the 70s. This week is from August 23rd, 1975. That's when the Carpenters were playing Solitaire. Ambrosia was holding on to yesterday. The Bee Gees were jive talking. And War wondered, why can't we be friends? You'll hear those songs and all the top 40 hits from August 23rd, 1975, right here on American Top 40, the 70s. Saturday night at 7 on FM 100.9 WLAF.
Cougar fans, this is head coach Taylor Ombie, and we're counting down to kickoff for the 2025 football season. We'll open up on Friday, August 22nd at Lenoir City. We hope to see you at the game, but if not, catch all the action right over here on WLAF.
Casey Kasem has unlocked the American Top 40 vaults and is replaying original shows from the 80s. This week, Casey takes you back to August 11th, 1984. That's when the Jacksons were in a state of shock. John Waite was missing you. Sheila E. was living the glamorous life. And Tina Turner wondered, what's love got to do with it? You'll hear those songs, all the top 40 hits, and the long-distance dedications from August 11th, 1984, right here on American Top 40, the 80s. Sunday night at 8, right here on WLAF, FM 100.9.
AM, FM, TV, and .com. This is WLAF.
FM 100.9 WLAF.
Wolfpack is back, cause I'm mass destruction. Guess who's here? The bad boys arrest me. Testing competition, win the war, that's their mission. Not no mercy, see the ring, start the street. If you don't know, you better find out the Wolfpack. Here to prove a point, number one, best believe.
Final segment of the program. Come up with an interesting topic of conversation for the last part of the show today. We got about 19 or so minutes left, maybe 18, maybe 17. Just all depends. But Jonah looks at me and he says, "You think Brian Kelly can get it done?" And it was a pretty abrupt no. I don't think he can. And it's like, okay, well, why can't he get it done? It's like, well, what has Brian Kelly really done? And especially when you look at these opening games over the past few years. You look at the two debacles against Florida State. Those were terrible.
Yeah.
Those were awful. Like, especially the first one, you had every chance to win. And you didn't. And you let Mike Norvell beat you. So it begs the question, who is the most overrated coach in college football right now? Who could it be?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I know he's hating on Missouri earlier, but Eli Drinkwitz comes to mind. Or maybe somebody like James Franklin, potentially.
He's made a playoff, though.
He's made a playoff, but he can't win a game. I mean, he's beat Ohio State once.
They're kind of the Missouri, in a sense.
They are.
Like, when you really think about it, they're almost the Missouri of the Big Ten.
They don't have a rival, and they're good, but are they ever going to be great?
It's like they consider Michigan and Ohio State rivals, but Michigan's worried about Ohio State and Michigan State. Ohio State is worried about Michigan.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, Penn State's there, but
they're just that kind of good team they play every year.
I'm going to throw you a curveball. Because if this were 3 years ago, I would have said Jimbo Fisher.
Without a doubt.
You know who I think the most overrated coach in college football is?
Who?
Lincoln Riley.
I could get behind it. I really could.
And the reason I say that is because he really mirrors Jimbo Fisher in a lot of ways. You look at what Jimbo Fisher did. Inherited a great program from Bobby Bowden. Inherited from a legend. Won a national championship. But when all that talent, all those resources were all gone, he left. And then he left somebody else a mess to clean up. He left it to Willie Taggart, who really didn't get that much of a chance because everybody thought that Jimbo Fisher just left him a gold mine, and in actuality, he left him a dumpster fire. So Willie Taggart gets fired, insert Mike Norvell. Well then, On the flip side of that, you have Lincoln Riley, Oklahoma. 2017 was his first year. Bob Stoops retires. A legend. Inherits a great program. Goes to the playoffs. Goes 12-2. 12-2. 12-2. 9-2. 10-2. Only won one of those bowl games.
I mean, you can't do that.
And it was in 2020. Which a year in Clayton and I, we do not count.
Yeah, no.
So consistently ranked top 10, right? But what's the trend here? After those 4 years, what's going to happen? Players start to cycle out.
You start losing.
All those guys that you got with the Bob Stoops discount, this is pre-NIL. They all leave. Guess what? You're left with nothing. What does he do? He leaves and leaves a mess for Brent Venables.
Yeah.
Because that's what Oklahoma is right now. They're a mess.
Yes, they're a mess.
And it's like, oh, well, look at what Lincoln Riley did. It's like, yeah, look at what he did. He left them in a dumpster and lit it on fire. That's exactly what he did. So now you're starting to see the same thing at USC. You know, they buy out his house in Norman. They give him a house out in L.A., a ridiculous contract. Goes 11-3 in year one, loses in the Cotton Bowl. The next year they go 8-4, then win the Holiday Bowl. 7-5, then they win the Holiday Bowl. This past year, 6-6, but they won the Vegas Bowl to make it 7-6. So I'm going to argue he has got to be the most overrated coach in college football, hands down. And I don't know if I can really put anybody else up there with him.
He's a good one. I hadn't thought of him. He's definitely the most overpaid head coach.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what are they paying for? 6-6?
Basically. Because realistically, other than that first year when he first got out there, what has he done? Because you got to think that's back when they were still in the Pac-12. That's back when there was no competition out there.
Yeah. That competition wasn't that great.
No. And then your first year in the Big Ten, you go 7-6. You have to play in the Las Vegas Bowl to get that 7th win to keep you above 500.
You never want that bowl game to be the reason you're above 500.
And then there's coaches like Brian Kelly. It's like once they get in a big game, they can never win the big one.
Yeah. I mean, I look back at what has Brian Kelly ever won. He was at Notre Dame. I mean, sure, he had a good program. You can see what Marcus Freeman's done with it. But what did he win with them? Nothing.
He made the national championship game one time and got absolutely stomped.
And honestly, he's probably even lucky he got there.
Well, I'm pretty sure they made the college football playoff one time and also got stomped.
Yeah. So what has he won at Notre Dame?
Nothing.
Notre Dame, where my hot take, they schedule cupcakes for at least half the schedule.
Oh, they do. And they're independent. They don't have any conference obligations.
Yeah, they can do it.
But then you look at what he's done at LSU. And I just think back to when he had that press conference after they played us in 2022, and we went down there and just absolutely beat the brakes off of him. And he walks in, he's like, yeah, we weren't expecting that. So far at LSU, he has went 10-4, 10-3, and 9-4, which is good. It's a good football team. But here's the thing. You're in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. New Orleans is right down the road. The talent that comes out of that state alone, there is no excuse to why you shouldn't be in the college football playoff every single year.
You should be.
No excuse.
In one of those years, he had a Heisman quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And he couldn't do it.
Mm-mm.
I mean, his name's, as we're sitting here talking, I'm thinking he's inching closer and closer to Lincoln Riley.
He very well might be. And then people want to say Billy Napier. Billy Napier hasn't really done anything.
Yeah, he's not been there long enough, and he's not done enough. I mean, he was great at the group of 5 level.
Of course. And it's funny because someone did a list last year And they basically just stated the top two coaches that we just stated. It was number one, Lincoln Riley, as the most overrated coach, and then Brian Kelly as the number 2 overrated coach. Here's a weird one at number 3. Kalen DeBoer.
No, I don't think he's overrated.
I'm not fully sold yet.
No, he's won everywhere he's went. I mean, sure, he should have done better at Alabama last year,
Mm-hmm.
but I would argue some of those losses are on Jalen Milroe, not Kalen DeBoer,
Mm-hmm.
and what he had in that locker room.
And the next 2, you have Steve Sarkisian. I can kind of see that.
I don't know.
But then the 5th one was actually your guy.
Eli Drinkwitz,
No.
James Franklin.
Yep.
He can't win a game.
No.
That Big Ten schedule, there's a lot. That bottom tier of the Big Ten, it's nowhere near where the SEC is. So they may win all those games, but the middle of the SEC is much better than the middle of the Big Ten.
And if you want to start talking about all time, like most overrated all time, you have to throw Jimbo Fisher as number 1.
Oh, without a doubt.
They spent $80 million on a recruiting class, and I think they won, 4 games?
Yeah, that team was an absolute dumpster fire.
I mean, that's how you know you're a loser. CBS did have Tennessee as the 10th most overrated team over the past decade.
I don't know if I can get behind that.
3 losing seasons. Record versus the top 25 is 18-29.
I mean, that ain't great.
And I will say this. They put in the average recruiting ranking. And Tennessee's averaging 14th in the country, which sounds great. But as I've mentioned before, where do you stand as far as the rest of your conference goes? Because that's who you're going to be playing against.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's going to determine what your talent level is. And if you're middle to back half of the pack, guess where you're going to finish throughout the year most of the time?
Middle of the back half every time.
Mm-hmm. That's why I always say, hey, guys, let's pump the brakes. Anytime that someone's like, well, we have, the number 11 recruiting class in the country, it's like, okay, who in conference is ahead of us?
And when there's 5 schools.
Yeah, it's like, well, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, LSU. But, who else? Texas A&M, Oklahoma. Yeah, we're going to be middle of the back half of the pack.
Yeah.
Texas was number 9 on the list, followed by Miami, North Carolina, USC, Florida, Florida State, Auburn, Nebraska, and of course, topping off is Texas A&M. I'd fully get behind the Texas A&M deal.
Yeah, every year they're going to the playoffs. Every year, 8-4 at best.
And this is a team too. Like, they are a school that did not want Texas to be a part of the SEC. When it went to vote, 14 schools have to vote, and it was everyone that was in the SEC at the time, and only one school voted no, and it was Texas A&M. They wanted to be the only school from Texas in the SEC because it helped them in recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
It did. But then Texas comes in, and now they are, I don't know. I'm going to be interested to see what they do.
Yeah.
Which Texas A&M, I mean, they're weird.
I mean, their quarterback situation, like, is Marcel Reed really going to be your guy?
Oh, I was talking about the fans, the students. They're weird.
Oh, yeah. They are very weird.
That's a weird school. I just can't get behind Texas A&M. I never have.
No. I don't understand it.
And Florida was on that list. You scroll over here to ESPN.com. The headline, when you go to the homepage on college football, can DJ Lagway become Florida's next great quarterback? How many times have we seen this? How many times have we heard this?
Yeah.
We heard it with everybody. Everybody, it seems like, that has come through Florida. Well, this is the next great quarterback. This is him. It's DJ Lagway. It's Anthony Richardson. It's Graham Mertz.
I just don't see it. I mean, there's a part of me that says, yeah, DJ Lagway, he's got everything that, could make him a great quarterback. But what have we seen that's going to make him a great quarterback?
So did Nico Iamaleava.
That's what I was getting ready to say. So did Nico.
Well, and the bad thing about that, too, is, I keep harping on Nico, but was there a part of you that could see this coming from a mile away?
Yeah.
Because when you talk about him and you look at his high school game, when did you ever see a video of him wearing full pads?
He was always in those pajama pants.
Exactly. The only time that we ever saw the highlights get posted was the 7-on-7 camps in which he was wearing pajamas. At that point, it's like, okay, well, let me see him in a uniform. Let me see what he's like on the field. And I think there might have been maybe just a handful of clips of that. And that was just annoying. It's like, okay, well, we don't really know what this guy's got.
Yeah. And then, I mean, coming from where Tennessee was, I always felt like with you have the 5-star quarterback coming in, you're just waiting for the other shoe to drop of like, why is he here? Like, it just didn't make a whole lot of sense. This guy from California is coming to Tennessee. Like, it didn't make sense to me.
Oh, the reason he came here was money.
Was the money. And when the money was gone, so was Nico.
And if he would have won here, people would have been like, oh, he was such a great fit here. He was such a great fit. No, the reason he would have been a good fit is because he won.
Yeah.
That's why he was a good fit. That's like Bruce Pearl. The guy was from the North. He did not fit in at Tennessee. The reason he fit in is because he won. You could argue the only coach that really fits in at the university right now is Rick Barnes. He's a Southern guy. He's from just across the border over in Hickory, North Carolina. You could argue he fits in. The way his lifestyle is, very outspoken about his faith, you could argue, yeah, he fits in perfect here.
He does. I would also argue Tony Vitello. Everybody hates Tennessee. He embraces it. He says, you know what? We're going to be the team that you hate, and we're going to come in, and we're going to beat you, and you're going to hate it.
He does kind of fit in, doesn't he?
He fits in.
Like, not from just like the outsider perspective. It's like, oh, it's a guy from the North. He's coming down here. It's like, oh, no, he blends in pretty well.
He does.
He blends in pretty well. And I worry about that with Josh Heupel a little bit, too.
Yeah, he don't fit in a whole lot.
Well, and two, it's like you always have that thought in the back of your mind. And we saw how emotional he got after the Oklahoma game last year. But that is his alma mater.
Yeah, that's a hard one to play.
And let's call it like it is. Brent Venables, not doing too hot.
I hope he doesn't leave because he's brought Tennessee back my whole childhood. They were awful. So him bringing them back has been great. And it'd be a sad day to see Josh Heupel leave.
It would be a terrible day. I will say that. That would be absolutely terrible to see that happen. And I hope it never does. And quite frankly, I think as long as Danny White is at the helm, you probably won't see that happen.
Yeah.
Now, if Danny White were to take a job as the commissioner of the SEC or the president of the NCAA, which I feel like is his intention, then, we could have that conversation. Because at that point, what's keeping him here? Unless we're winning championship after championship, then you can make that argument.
Yeah.
But until then, that's neither here nor there. We're looking forward to seeing you guys tomorrow down in Lenoir City. I will be there. Jonah will be there. Jim will be there. Les and Brent, we will all be there along with you. That is going to do it for us. Jonah, thank you so much for hopping in with me today.
It was a great time to be here.
Indeed, it was. Something else coming up next here on WLAF. Tune in tomorrow as Campbell County takes on Lenoir City at 7 o'clock. We'll be tuned in with you. Thank you so much. We'll talk soon.
Jake Miller Sports Talk is taking your calls and listening to you every Thursday at 6 p.m. over WLAF. Hi, this is former Cougar Jake Miller inviting you to join me for 2 hours talking Tennessee Vols, Campbell County Cougars, and beyond. See you at 6 p.m. on WLAF.
FM 100.9 WLAF. We've unlocked the vaults and we're replaying Casey Kasem's American Top 40, the 70s. This week is from August 23rd, 1975. That's when the Carpenters were playing Solitaire. Ambrosia was holding on to yesterday. The Bee Gees were jive talking. And War wondered, why can't we be friends? You'll hear those songs and all the top 40 hits from August 23rd, 1975, right here on American Top 40, the 70s. Saturday night at 7 on FM 100.9 WLAF.
Cougar fans, this is head coach Taylor Ombie, and we're counting down to kickoff for the 2025 football season. We'll open up on Friday, August 22nd at Lenoir City. We hope to see you at the game, but if not, catch all the action right over here on WLAF.
Casey Kasem has unlocked the American Top 40 vaults and is replaying original shows from the 80s. This week, Casey takes you back to August 11th, 1984. That's when the Jacksons were in a state of shock. John Waite was missing you. Sheila E. was living the glamorous life. And Tina Turner wondered, what's love got to do with it? You'll hear those songs, all the top 40 hits, and the long-distance dedications from August 11th, 1984, right here on American Top 40, the 80s. Sunday night at 8, right here on WLAF, FM 100.9.
WLAF, broadcasting from the Truly Nolan studio. Truly Nolan, voted Campbell County's best pest control, termite, and wildlife company.
WLAF La Follette, the home of American Top 40, the 70s with Casey Kasem.
This is 1450 WLAF.
FM translator W230DC.
And FM translator W265BQ. La Follette, Tennessee, USA, where it's now time for CBS Radio News, a presentation of Terry's Pharmacy.
We'll see you in La Follette, Jacksboro.